Hello and welcome to the Q&A session with me. My name is Manuela Siebel. I'm the CEO and founder of Ostbayer Immigration Services, and I will be running this session today about employment and sponsorship. A Q&A spreadsheet. So in the membership, we have a Q&A spreadsheet where you, as the members, you can put in your questions. So that is if you're attending the call or not attending the call, it doesn't matter. You can always put your questions in there because, you know, sometimes you plod along and then a question pops up. So I really suggest put it in the Q&A sheet, and then I always answer the questions during the Q&A call. And of course, if, you know, there's people live attending, then they can also ask me directly in the live call. So I guess that is also really a bonus of attending the call live, because then, you know, for example, you have a question, I give you an answer. And if you have a follow-up question, you can just, you know, ask me on the call live. So let me just go to okay. So look, first and foremost, if you're looking for a sponsor, usually the first step is employment. So I always recommend when you apply, so firstly you apply for a job. So there's again various ways to do that. So I would say the two most important portals or the two most important pages in Australia is seek.com.au and the second one is LinkedIn. Yeah, there's other forums and other places, other pages, but I would say Seek is definitely the number one job board. Wake up. And I'm just gonna put it like this, without entering the suburb or the city, and just to show you, there is 6,322 jobs around Australia. So there's over 6,000 jobs. And that's what I mean, you know, like there's probably even more than that. This is just the jobs that are on Seek. And every day there will be new jobs. Of course, every day there's also jobs going to be taken, right? But on LinkedIn yet, go and check out the platform. It's free, and, you know, you can just play around with it, you know. And then you can also, here, for example, it's a search function where you can, for example, child care worker. Here we go. Jobs. Again, does it show how many? See, for the employer. So let's again use that example, childcare worker. I would love to use another example, but because Rebecca is the only person who put a question into the Q&A sheet for today's session, I may as well reward Rebecca for doing this and use her occupation as an example. So hopefully that encourages everyone else to put their questions in the Q&A sheet for the next session, because I really use the Q&A sheet. And also jump on live, guys. Honestly, join me live. Imagine you would now be live with me and you could just ask me your questions. Imagine that, the value that you would get from it. Okay, trust me, they will do what they can to help you. And I've been doing this work for 10 years, and I've seen this, that people from overseas get an offer for sponsorship and then, well, get sponsored while they're still overseas. And then once they have the visa approved, that's when they can enter Australia and start working for the employer, being sponsored, and then eventually get their PR. And the good thing is also on these kind of visas, you can bring your family. So if you have family, partner, children, you can bring them along. You don't have to. Some people also choose to go by themselves, set themselves up, usually, work for like say 6 to 12 months, get a nice house, get organized, all of that. And then they bring their family over after. So either way, the employer, also for yourself, because look, sponsorship is a commitment for both, for the employer and for you as the applicant, not just the applicant, for the employee, for the person being sponsored, because a sponsorship is usually multiple years. So the shortest is 2 years and then goes up to 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on years. Depends on what pathway you want. But even if it's just for 2 years, honestly, you want to ideally work for an employer and in a work environment that you enjoy. You want to be happy going to work. So working for someone, like for an employer first and then going into sponsorship, is usually the way to go. But like I said, I've also seen other scenarios, okay? Of course, there's also the option to use your membership wisely and make sure that you put your questions in the spreadsheet so that I can make reference to it, and that you get value from the membership that you're paying for. Okay, and also the question doesn't necessarily have to relate to the topic. So today, for example, the topic was employment and sponsorship, but I'm also taking questions on other topics. All right, so if you have a question about a certain visa category, if you have something about a student visa, or anything really, just put it in the spreadsheet and I'll answer it.